What does it mean to be gay? Where do we come from? Why now? What's our purpose? What's our future? What is our function? How do we activate our power?
So, for example, someone lies and someone deceives, but there are moments of closeness and beautiful sex. How do you reconcile that? I was planning to record this as a video, but I'm recording this as a podcast at this time, and if it turns out to be good, I'm going to keep it as a podcast and then place it on YouTube for you. The topic for this discussion is very serious. It's about how sex, how it fragments us, how it kills us. The question I have for all of us, the question is, do I want to live a wholesome life? And is it better to live a wholesome life, or is it better to live a fragmented life? And are all the good things that happen in our lives only possible in a wholesome version? They're never possible in a fragmented version. And I want to emphasize this because we are all living a fragmented life, and yet at the same time searching love, happiness in that fragmentation. And this is the ultimate killer weapon, to put people in a place of such level of inner conflict that nothing is possible. And that inner conflict between sex and love is that state of mind that you're going to be for the rest of your life if you allow sex to fragment you. You're not going to be in a space of love. You're not going to really be in the space of sex either. You're going to be somewhere in between. And this is like torture. So I say this is like almost murder. It's like sex really kills the spirit. But kills us slowly. It's like this is the worst way to die. Because this is a form of death. It's just slow motion. This is not like a bullet hitting you in the head. No, this is a state of inner conflict. This internal state of confusion, where neither sex nor love is possible. And when you bring them together, they can't stick together because the arousal is so strong towards traits that can never be inside of a relationship, that then the person will rationalize why they need to exit from that relationship and then go back into the inner conflict. I'd like to explain to you how this happens. It happens through a violation of our principles and our values when we meet people. Then we fall in love with those people. And by falling in love with those people, we are actually falling in love with the fact that we fragmented ourselves. So then the initial repulsion towards violation of principles is dissolved. So here is how sex kills us in one sentence. Sex allows us to fall in love with the fragmentation. Because sex and the positive emotion from sex and closeness are so strong, they override the principles and the values. And this override is now part of this, what people call love and pleasure. So you see how serious this is? Something that should produce repulsion now is contained in a bubble of pleasure. So for example, someone lies and someone deceives, but there are moments of closeness and beautiful sex. How do you reconcile that? And so this is the state that we are all living in when we choose sex over honesty, over respect, over the principles that are mandatory for wholeness. And this creates an internal conflict, like a fracture of psychic, where from the moment that you are loving someone who lies to you or disrespects you, you're not only loving him, but that spreads into the rest of your life. You are losing power. When a man comes into your life with beautiful sex and body, yet violates your principles, by allowing that to happen, you are dismantling the most important part of your psychic, which is that repulsion towards violation of principles. And this is how sex kills us all, in slow motion, because it teaches us to violate our own principles. Sex actually is the door that opens up the process of self-fragmentation. First, you fragment your image of wholeness, because he's beautiful, it gives you great sex, and that satisfies some part of you. But at the same time, you violate the other part of you. But when you violate that other part of you is not just something that occurs in the relationship. It's an overall global statement of you in relationship to yourself. So by violating that with this man, you're violating that on a global level for you independently of his presence. And this is the tricky part. This is the trap here. This is like a mouse trap. And we all fall into it like little mice. We think that our interaction with a human being is a contained interaction, does not spread into other areas of our consciousness. In reality, if you allow love to contain violation of principles, you're going to be violating principles in other areas of your life. It's just a question of time, because now you're teaching yourself, habituating yourself to dissolve your mechanism of repulsion and protection against violation of principles. And if you do it through sex, then later you're going to do it just naturally, because you already are teaching yourself that pattern of cognitive rationalization and justification. So sex is the fastest way to corrupt a man's psychic. It is really the fastest way to corrupt a man, period. And sex has been weaponized to such a degree that for you to have sex and feel pleasure with someone, because it often comes with the character traits of a person that are broken, now we are all forced to love all of that, including those traits that are broken. And by loving those traits that are broken, you then are loving those traits that are broken inside you, creating an internal state of confusion, because there is that other part of you that knows that you're violating them. And that is a very complicated state of mind to be in. It involves so much confusion, so much overhead. It occupies your mind so much, it's called cognitive dissonance. It really distorts your perception of reality, because you're confused about why you feel love and yearning and desire towards a man who lies to you. And that's the end product of that. You are falling in love with things that hurt you, with people that hurt you, with sex that hurts you. And for people that are in that state of mind, it's almost impossible to exit from it, because to do that, you have to have access to therapy, to coaching, to open up the subtleties of how you, over the years, have given yourself permission to love people that hurt you, that lie to you, that disrespect you, but on the flip side, give you the great sex, the fantasy sex that you are looking for. So there's a whole bunch of things that are happening here that are very, very, very deep and very disruptive to your wholeness for the rest of your life. And this is that engine of self-destruction. And people give sex so much focus to such a degree that this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy for every single gay man. And every time you go to a bar or go to places, you look at them and they all look the same, broken the same way. The principles have been broken. Their values have been broken. And now we can see a state of self-hatred. Self-hatred. They eventually discover that there's so much anger about the fact that they allowed those rules to be broken, that now they actually hate themselves. They hate the fact that there is a part inside them or inside us that continuously allows the inner conflict to happen, to exist. That all the other parts are so weak to confront it, that this becomes a very complex of self-hatred. Now it's not just about shame, devaluation from sex. Now, every moment, every second of a day, that person, that individual discovers that he hates himself. And then he hates everybody else. And especially he hates those people that live by principles. He hates those people that are living in structure because he was never capable of doing it for himself. That inner conflict killed him, and now he hates himself. Now, to walk backwards, to heal from that kind of state of mind, it will take years. And it will take so much work that most gay men actually will never do this work. And that's why our lives are so complex, our community is so complex, because we have people that have been killed by sex in our community. They are in a state of self-hatred as a result of that extension of the inner conflict, the allowing of the breakdown of principles and rules to happen across the span of decades, that now creates this inability to even believe in oneself, or believe in oneself to fix it, and also the belief that principles even are important. And that's how the dissolution of a human psychic happens. It starts with sex, but then later it spreads into every other category, and then there's a moment when it enters into a state of such level of disempowerment that you can't come back from this. And that's why I am so direct about sex and education about sex, because I don't want this state to be something that happens to you. That state of the disturbance of a psychic to a degree that it cannot be brought back into coherence, that is very common in the gay world. All happens through sex. And the proof of that is emotional deregulation, depression, anxieties, inability to form relationships, being too chaotic on the inside. The cognitive dissonance has been imprinted on the psychic to such a degree that any state of order, any principle, any recommendation, any advice becomes like a wound that gets torn again over and over, because it reminds the person the fact that they were never capable of living by principles, living by order. And so it makes them feel incredibly upset at themselves because they come to contact with that self-hatred they have inside themselves. They actually hate themselves for the fact that they were never capable of raising their standards and staying on the level of high standards. And so this is something you have to become aware of, because they will pull you down with them. These men that have that, they will take pleasure in noticing you in a state of weakness, in a state of confusion, in a state of fear, in a state of submission, or in a state of chaos. And that's why the sadomasochistic patterns in the gay world are so strong. It's because we have a lot of men that hate themselves because sex killed them. Sex killed their potential. Sex killed their opportunities for love and for beautiful future. And now they will spend the rest of their lives to kill everybody else who still wants happiness, love, and abundance, and a future of order, family, structure. They will do everything in their power to derail those people. And now, hopefully, you're aware of this, and you put yourself in situations where you don't have to be part of someone's game of self-destruction. Because that's what this is. This is a game of self-destruction. So wake up, my friends. Wake up to this state of cognitive dissonance, the confusion, the abandonment of principles in the name of sex and pleasure. And every time that happens, you're teaching yourself that abandonment of principles is okay. And then 10 years later, 20 years later, you're in a state of such confusion that it will be very difficult to come back from that. Because everything that is there to serve you at that moment becomes a negative trigger. You have a negative reaction to everything that's good for you. And the proof of that is that most gay men seek lovers who humiliate them, who hurt them, who are aggressive, who are not loving. This is the proof in the pudding that I suspect you have sexual arousal towards men who are emotionally unavailable, who are direct, aggressive, sometimes even violent, and that produces the basis for arousal. For you and many gay men, most of us in fact, I have also places like that too. I recognize that there is this attraction towards a man who's aggressive, who is like overly emasculated, who's just going to come over and just take you. Yes, there is this something about it that's attractive. And that's the proof that we are willing to violate our principles of wholeness and respect and love and care in the name of those kind of sensations. Don't let that ever happen to you. And be with people that have built protocols and protections against arousal taking over their lives and killing them in the process. Don't let sex kill you. And that's my message to all of you guys out there who want life to be wholesome again. Okay, my friends, I'll be signing off. I wish you all the best. And those of you who want that transformation, those of you who want love to guide you, those of you who don't want to be victims to sex and its power to kill you, then join us at the Big Gay Family Social Program. We have all the protections against all the self-destruction that's happening in the gay world. We've built a bunker against all those patterns of behavior that are narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, acting out of want, trauma, all those bad things that you are confronting on a daily basis. They never happen in Big Gay Family. Never. And if they do, guess what happens? I come in and I clean it up. I clean the motherfucking mess up. That's my job. And I never allow this kind of mess to grow in Big Gay Family. Once it happens, I come in and I break through the door. I'm like, this shit is stopping right now. And that's why the program works. Because in my personality, in my own consciousness, I see the mess. I see all the chaos. And I know how to protect ourselves from it. And I created a technological infrastructure, step by step, that guides everybody and protects everybody from all of this. So inside Big Gay Family, sex has no power to kill you. Outside of Big Gay Family, sex is killing you every day, whether you like it or not. And those of you who say, oh no, this is not happening to me, oh, it's probably happening to you probably 10 times more than to those that are transparent about it and accept it. Because now you're giving the proof that you're in denial about it. Don't be in denial about it, my friend. Just notice your sexual arousal and how it drives you to men that want to violate your respect, who want to hurt you, disregard you, who don't give a shit about you. That's the kind of man that we are attracted to. Let's be honest. Step out of the denial. Accept this. Otherwise, you will never come out of it. Never. And your life will be a wasteland of corpses of your fuck buddies. So to avoid all of that, join us at Big Gay Family. Visit the website biggayfamily.com. And I'm super excited to share all of this wisdom with you in the program, to see you in the program and show you another world. A world of possibilities for gay human beings that is real, that does not involve death of our spirit, death of our souls, and instead ascension and progress towards family, having a husband, and all the beautiful things you're looking for. Okay, my friends, I'm signing off. I'm looking forward to sharing with you more videos and podcasts in the future. Subscribe to the channel, or for more direct access to all of my videos organized in one place, visit my own personal website at paulangelo.com. Okay, my friends, I'll see you in the next podcast. Take care.
What does it mean to be gay? Where do we come from? Why now? What's our purpose? What's our future? What is our function? How do we activate our power?